In Ethiopia, the idea of covenant is very strong. The covenantal relationship, it includes both man and God, but it also includes nature.
I remember when we were a child in the monastery, we were not supposed to cut any plant without the permission of scholars. It is absolutely forbidden. When we were very little children, I remember, even a grass, the grass you step simply randomly, sometimes you have to be careful. Because within this, bunch of grasses, inside maybe a very tiny plant, which they know that you don't have to destroy.
My childhood tells me that entire women, who had, for dowry, they used to have trees. Some trees are allowed of their own personal belongings. And they move every morning, talk to the trees. Literally, they were talking to their trees. They clean them, they take the infected leaves, they bury them, or they fire them. And so the communication was extremely spiritual.
The ignorant people, they know about the tree only for shedding. So they only know that the tree is a tree. They can cut it and burn it for firewood, or they can cut it for the axe or for the plowing materials. But it has, in one tree, it has several aspects. Apart from that, a medicine aspect, and cooling aspect while you are tired, when in April, May, when the sun is very dry. These plants which gives life for the environment. They said when the wind is blowing, it's always dry. But when it passes through the green life, it has a life breathing. So even the wind has a healing aspect.
Every time I'm asking why we are short of grains. Every season we are now, seems as if we are short of grains. When we were 10 million, we had the same problem. When we reached 30, the same thing. Now we are 110, and we are facing about 10 million needing support. And so the issue is not only religious, but at least how we are managing our environment, given the abundance that we have, or water, soil, labor. These are the things that you need for cultivation, but we are still short. So we go back to management of resources. Back, say, like from Ras Dashen to Dalol, we have that disposition, from 4,600 to less than 100 below sea level. That's the range that we are in. So that gives you the biodiversity, resources and the like, and goes along with the culture also. Diverse cultures, I believe, as a geographic determinist, your environment affects you very much.
According to the monastic charters, the monasteries are considered to be a second paradise where man can regain the sense of oneness and unity with the Creator and the created, which was destroyed by the original sin.
Monasticism is defined as a human being with angelic life.
Asceticism encourages us rather to think in a long-term scheme of things and to be willing to give up things for the sake of the community, for the sake of our relationship with God, and for the sake of a higher good, which can also be the ecological benefit of the community.
Tolerating the temptation of the world with high capacity of controlling his self-desire, carnal or whatever, psychological or whatever, who is a person who is able to control himself, his bodily, physical, psychological desires towards the world, and rejected it, and tied itself to the rules and regulations of perfection, of being perfect, is that you have to forget all the material aspects of the world, or which is from the governance of matter. Material things should not have a governance over your life.
Back to Islamic principles, you're not allowed to. It's extremely, even if you are in the sea, you cannot spoil the sea. That is the standard, that's the hadith that we have. And excess is not allowed in Islam. After the Solomonic dynasty, they were talking about moving camps. Go out 3 months in one place and eat the place and then move to, because the entourage were heavy and moving from one area to the other. Think of the devastation that they can at least not only killing plants but affecting the soil also, and the water system and the forests. And the monasteries, as you were mentioning, were salvaged because they were religious spots, and so the soldiers and the ruling families were afraid to intervene in spiritual dimension. That's why they are here with us today.
So in Ethiopian monasteries there is the idea that God has given a particular kidan or covenant to the saint who founded the monastery, and this includes some particular revelation of the divine glory which manifests itself in a physical way, also in the nature of the place and in supernatural phenomena. One of the desires of the saints was always to experience the particular holiness of each place and the manifestation of the divine glory in a peculiar, particular form in each place. And this was always expressed in the particular covenant or kidan of which was reflected in the hagiography of the saint, and often also in the monastic charter and the monastic rules.
We have many saints iconographies with different animals. You have Abuna Aragawi, the founder of Tabrat Amo, taken by the serpent, and then, we have the memory. It's possible to climb without rope. The rope that you are climbing is a memory of the serpent. It's possible to climb in another way. We can have an electric or a modern way of ladder. We don't have to suffer. But to commemorate that attachment of the serpent and the saint, that we keep that tradition alive. And you have, one of the most favorite saint I love most, Samuel Waldebach.
Saint Samuel, he had one of the donkey was, this donkey has carry water, food, messenger of a saint. In one day, a lion is hungry, kill the donkey. A saint is asked, why you kill my donkey? Asked, it is a lion. A lion is, excuse me, apologize. Ikirta. After that, 7 years carry water the lion instead of donkey, also riding to him.
And you have our government sculptures. Lions on the other side, tigers on the other side, and a certain bird coming and was very thirsty. He wanted to take water from his eyes. In his house, they are attached. Come, if you are dry, if you are thirsty, come and take some water. I don't have any water in my life. The only water I think I have is in my eyes. So come and quench your thirst. It is in the biography of Gabriel Pescados, or Abo. Most popularly, we call him Abo, to mean our father.
It's part of also of the ecology of the places, somehow, because in these Christian territories of Ethiopia, we have these layers of the animal, the botanical, the plants, and the way also the churches now are building with cement and so on. But traditionally, they all done natural from what nature had to offer you. In the north, there are the stones. In other places, the mud and everything. So it was a total connection, and it's what religion is about. It's connecting, also connecting with the nature, not only the supernatural, but also with the natural around you. And there's no church. There's no church I know without a big tree. And there's always some story connected with some element of the nature. I don't know a single church, the ones I visited until now, it has not a connection with something of the nature, and the feeling that this place belongs to all, not only to the human beings, but to the animals and to the plants, and that, and in fact, that's a way of. That's the style. Like Joachim is totally right. Monks, Ethiopian monks, with the knowledge of the herbs, the plants, the value of the trees, etc., were in fact preserving. And we can see it in the islands. You can see around the convent, the churches, even here in Addis, in the outskirts, as the city is expanding. All these little churches that are being built, they are preserving the little woods. Still nowadays, they are becoming a kind of little islands of pleasure and to the eyes and also to our lungs in this big city.
Harar, and now asking them how they are managing with their environment. I mean, Harar is also a good example to consider for Islamic practice or for that mixture of Islamic and other cultures we are also involved in. When it comes to soil water conservation, Harar might lead the way in Ethiopia. They used to have really marvelous system, better.
The idea of indigenous ecological ethics, it is not only implicit in the Christian Orthodox tradition, but also in other religious traditions in Ethiopia, the traditional religions of Ethiopia, like the Wakifata or Wakifana religion of the Oromo people, the biggest ethnic group in Ethiopia, puts a lot of emphasis on relationship with nature.
So, what is the natural world then? What is your ecology? What is your environment? Has to do with your life. How do you understand the environment you are living in? Has its own connection with your spiritual life. So the first important thing is that understanding the human being in connection with nature. The human being in the monastic spirituality, the human being is considered as the responsible person, the supreme authority over all nature. So you are responsible for the beauty of nature as well as for the destruction of nature. Second important thing is understanding nature is nature is to serve you. God created nature, the entire nature, to serve his important creation, human being, which is created by the image and likeness of himself. And then we use them for all our sufferings. When we are sick, we will use nature. There is no medicine for our physical sicknesses except God and nature. Tenderness will be extended to nature. We will be tender to nature. Even to cut a piece of leaf from a tree, that tenderness fights you inside. Oh, I should have. And also for all animals, for all living around you, tenderness is very important level.
So we can use the principle of asceticism as a paradigm for a philosophy of sustainable development.